All right, guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about something, just me and you, right? We're going to be just discussing something that is very, very important to the success of anything, let alone Fortnite, right? I'm sure all of you guys have come to this video with an expectation of like, okay, how do I succeed in Fortnite? Obviously, the title is like motivation, right? Like, how do I really stay motivated to grind Fortnite? I think you'll find that this video will be very useful for you outside of Fortnite as well, right? Whether it comes to school, whether it comes to gym, whether it comes to social life, you can actually apply the advice that I give in this video to all of these things, right? And I think that's something that will be very appreciated by all of you, right? It's just a very flexible video, something that I sort of talk about just based off of my own experience. So actually, this video is sort of about procrastination, right? And a lot of people really struggle with procrastination, and there's so many examples of this in school. So in school, there's a lot of things that we don't want to do. So the part where we have to attend class, that part's actually easy when you have in-person school. You can actually just go to class and then everything just sort of follows through from there. There's a reason that's the case, right? It's because you've just done the first step, which is basically getting on the school bus, and then the school bus literally takes you to the school, and then at that point you have no choice but to follow through. And just to explain it further, once you're on that school bus, you can't really there's no point to backing out once you're at school, right? There's a reason why it becomes very easy to follow through with classes and go to every class and then lunch break and then go to every class after that and then go home. We're at school for 6 to 8 hours, yet it becomes very, very easy for us. There's some tasks that you would consider to be easier, yet they're still very, very difficult for some reason, right? So let me break this down for you. So the reason that's the case is because in any task, any sort of struggle that we have in terms of procrastination, the hardest part is always starting, right? And for example, literally this video, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes and trying to do my best to not want to make it, because it is hard, right? It's a task. There's a mental barrier blocking me from starting this video, and then I'm like, wait, I've done this research, this is literally what the video is about. I'm just gonna hit start record. I'm just gonna start talking. I realize I can edit this afterwards. It doesn't necessarily matter, right? So the most important thing in any sort of task that you struggle to get started on is to just focus on the first 2 minutes. And that's exactly this video right here that I'm going to post on screen. You need to watch this video, guys. It's genuinely really, really helpful. So watch this video and apply this to pretty much everything in your life. And I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
There is no habit that we're going to work on that takes less than 2 minutes to do. But nearly any habit can be started in under 2 minutes. So if you take exercise, for example, often people will get home from a long day of work and they say, oh, I'm too exhausted to go for a run or to try to exercise. So I never get around to doing it because I think about, oh, I have to run 5 kilometers or whatever, some long distance that seems overwhelming to me. So rather than focus on the whole thing that you need to do, I would encourage you to focus on just the first 2 minutes. So what's the first 2 minutes of that habit? I put my running shoes on, I get out the door, and I lock the door. And if you do just that, it doesn't matter if you take another step. But what you find is that motivation often comes after starting, not before. We often think that motivation is something that we're supposed to have before we do work. But motivation will come as a result of doing some small bit of work, and then we can trust that the rest of the process will flow easily. But the point here is that the motivation needed to complete a habit is at its peak at the beginning of a behavior. The greatest amount of friction for any type of task is in the beginning, is in the starting. So the key idea is make it so easy that you can't say no.
So that's basically it, guys. That's essentially the video, right? It's telling you to focus on the first 2 things. Once you're out of the door, right? The example used in the video is running, right? So you really want to just get out the door, do the first step, and then you're good, right? At that point, everything takes over. The reason why I'm starting with this in terms of motivation is because a lot of people try to overthink it and be like, oh, I have so much stuff to do to become a pro, right? I have so many little things I need to improve that it just seems so far away. So now this ties into the second part of this video, which is the power of habits, right? So I'm actually reading a book called Atomic Habits. This is a very popular book. A lot of people have read it, right? It's very, very good. And it's just really, really focused on the power of habits long term. And so one of the things that they sort of talk about is why you should be focused on your process instead of results. So many people, right? Especially because the game has a young audience, right? So a lot of people are just so short-sighted. They really want to focus on the results, right? So, okay, how do I get money in solo cash grab? That's a perfect example. I personally think that's the worst way you can possibly think about it, period, right? You should not be thinking about it like that. You should be thinking about it, okay, how do I set myself up so that I'm improving the most each day, but I'm able to do it every single day, right? So one of the things that the book talks about is making sure that you focus on your systems, or in another word, your routine or your process, instead of your results. right? Because if you're results focused, not only will you be extremely demotivated when that result doesn't come, and then you'll be extremely unable to continue for like long term. You really just need to be focused on what you're doing day to day, because if you're able to focus on that, you'll actually succeed long term, right? Because your daily routine is like how you make sure you're productive every single day. So how do I make sure I'm like focused on the task that I want to do? Let's say I made a routine. I already have a routine. My routine is something like Kovacs, something like Raiders, and then something like Arena. Okay, so this is where the advice at the very beginning of the video comes into play. Just get started, guys. Literally, it's so simple. Just hit play. Just hit, Kovacs. Just open the application, and that's it. And then after that, it becomes so easy. It's crazy, right? It's genuinely, you have no choice but to continue. It's literally the school bus example that I gave at the beginning. Once you're on the school bus, it's like so easy to go to classes. It's so easy to just continue and just go through the entire day. And the same thing, guys. Like if your routine is, Kovacs Raiders map into Solar Arena, open Kovacs, load into the Raiders map, and then go into Soul Arena. And obviously Soul Arena is a little bit different because when you die, you sort of like are out of the system, so you need to hit play button again. So just hit play, right? Like no matter what happens, just like hit play again. And that's essentially what it is, right? Like if you feel demotivated to play Fortnite, just start. And I promise you, it becomes very, very easy to continue. And this is really, really important, because if you have a good process, if you have a good routine, you will find that in a couple months time, the difference will be incredible. It's sort of like the example that James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, right? The example that he gives in the book is sort of like when you're melting an ice cube, right? Let's say you're at room temperature, maybe like 25 degrees, and then you're slowly raising the temperature, maybe from 25 to 26, 27, and then you're slowly raising it, and then at like 27, nothing happens to the cube. Literally nothing changed, right? And then 28, still nothing changed, and then 29, and then you'll realize that the ice cube started melting rapidly, actually, right? It started changing. And this is the same thing with processes, right? It's the same thing. There's a reason why you should be motivated even though you see no results. This is why you shouldn't be results focused in the first place. It's just not ideal, because the truth is a lot of us actually have a lot to improve before we are able to make money in solo cash cups, right? So that's true. I'm sure you realize this, right? So you're going to be 80% the way there and then still see no change. Probably no placement difference, probably nothing, right? Because you still have mistakes you need to work on. There's still the other 20% you need to fix before you're eligible to, potentially make money in solo cash cups. I think it's way easier to be motivated when you sort of focus on your routine. You sort of focus on just getting through the routine at a, very effective level. Like don't try to like half-ass Soul Arena. Don't try to like sort of, just low level effort. Don't do any of that, right? Just get started and then understand what you're trying to strive for, right? You're trying to be a pro player. So really focus on that aspect, and I think you'll find that it's a lot easier than you think. There's actually a statistic in the book, related to habits. It tells you that if you improve 1%, right, in your skill level, just 1% little bits, right, each day, you're actually 37 times better by the end of the year. Right, so that's why routine is so powerful, because you want to do something every single day. Let's talk about just aim, for example. Let's focus on a little specific part of your skill set. Aim. If you focus on aim and you aim train every single day, and obviously it'll be some days it'll be better than 1% improvement, and some days it'll be a little less than 1% improvement, obviously. And obviously there's diminishing returns at the very end when you have, very high skill level, sure. But let's say for a second you are able to improve 1% every single day, and you stick with it because you understand the 2-minute rule. You're able to start, you open up Kovacs, you're able to start. And again, for controller players that are watching this video, Kovacs, like this is just an example. You can use in-game aim trainers or whatever, right? You improve 1% every single day. You're able to make it all the way to the end of the year with a very consistent routine without fail. You are now 37 times better. That's how it works. Improvement compounds, right? And you won't be able to see anything for the first 11 months, right? And then the last month you break through and you're immediately that much better, right? That's it, guys. Like, it's seriously really frustrating to see the community's sort of response to solo cash cups, the community's sort of response to the game because of the current meta. A lot of people don't like it. I totally understand. Like, SMGs are totally not fun to play in. It's not a good meta to have a good time, right? But if your goal is to become a pro player, you're not there to have a good time. You need to be professional about your routine. You need to be focused on your process, and you need to really just bang it out, guys. Like, just make sure you're working on it every single day consistently. And if you ever find, that you're demotivated one day, understand that, skipping that one day could have detrimental effects to your progress. I have students literally who have been with me for 2 or 3 weeks. I've been telling them to play Soul Arena every single day. At the very beginning, they were very demotivated. They didn't want to do it at all. Like pretty much all of them didn't want to do it. And then eventually I got everyone on board, and eventually there's 3 weeks past. They've been doing at least 4 hours to 6 hours every single day, and genuinely every single one of them had seen a transformational change, like really big change, just from doing it every day. But I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking like, how do I get them to become a really good fighter long term, right? That's it, guys. Like, just any sort of process, whether it be solo arena, whether it be realistic, whether it be practice your aim, whether it be going to the gym, because that actually affects your pro play, all of these things, just focus on all of that. And it's not something to note, right? I really want you guys to focus on the stuff outside of Fortnite, because that actually directly ties into Fortnite. Like, for example, the most obvious example is exercise, and how being active helps you be more focused in game and have a better time and be able to perform better. There's a reason why professional esport athletes like to exercise every single day, because it helps them play better, right? It's just the reality of it. So that's something that you should take into account. But also, if you're really efficient and use the 2-minute rule for homework for school, then you'll find that you're gonna have way more time to play Fortnite in the first place, right? So if you find that you don't have a lot of time to play Fortnite, focus on your schoolwork, not Fortnite. Makes sense? Get rid of the stuff that's making you lose time. That's it, guys. Just really focus on all of these things that I've listed in this video. Hopefully some of those things helped, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in becoming a student of mine, I will be releasing something of a program in January, so be on the lookout for that. I'm actually going on vacation very soon. Once I'm back, then I'll be looking into dropping that program and making sure that everyone has access if they want to become a student of mine and be able to succeed in Fortnite that way. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it helped, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.